Hi everyone, I am Dr. Soundararaj. In this video, I am going to take you through a problem and its related solution on the topic ratio analysis. This is yet another interesting problem, and this is the most important problem from the examination point of view for the undergraduate and the postgraduate programs. So let us get into the details of the problem first, then discuss the rest of the issues. From the following information, find out 1. Current assets, 2. Current liabilities, 3. Closing stock, 4. Fixed assets, and 5. Capital. These are all the 5 aspects to be calculated based on the information or the ratios given in the problem. What are all the information given in the problem? Current ratio 2.5 times. Liquid ratio 1.5 times. Fixed assets to proprietary fund, it is 0.75 times. Working capital is amounted 60,000 rupees. Reserves and surplus is amounted 40,000 rupees. Bank overdraft amounts to 10,000 rupees. They have also mentioned that there is no long-term loan or fictitious assets in the problem. Right. Now we should identify what is the starting point for our solution, looking at the details of the information provided in the problem. One is working capital, the second one is reserves and surplus, and the third one is bank overdraft. Obviously, we can't start the solution with the support of reserves and surplus. There is no ratio which directly links with the reserves and surplus. But what about the other two? Working capital. What is really meant by working capital? It is the amount of capital used to meet out the day-to-day operations of the business. In accounting, how it is calculated? Current assets minus current liabilities will give us working capital. Current assets and current liabilities are linked with one important ratio, which is nothing but current ratio. Since we know the excess of current assets over current liabilities, which is nothing but working capital, that amounts to 60,000, let us connect the working capital amount with the current ratio first. That is the starting point for the solution. By applying the amount of working capital in this situation, we can very well calculate the value of current assets and value of current liabilities. From current liabilities, if we subtract the amount of bank overdraft, we can come to know liquid liability. If we come to know liquid liability, we can easily calculate liquid assets. After calculating liquid assets, what we can do? Current assets minus liquid assets will give us closing stock. This is how we have to progress in the solution. This is a plan of the solution. So first you need to plan out the solution before you start. Now let us get into the details here in the solution first. Current ratio. What is the formula for current ratio? Current assets divided by current liabilities. The answer of current ratio is 2.5. So 2.5 divided by 1. For every 1 rupee of current liability, the business owns 2 rupees and 50 paise worth of current assets. This is the meaning. Current ratio 2.5 na enna artham? ஒவ்வொரு ரூபா கரண்ட் லைபிலிட்டிக்கும் அவங்க 2000 ரூபாய் மதிப்புடைய கரண்ட் அசெட்ஸ் வச்சிருக்கிறாங்க அப்படிங்கறத அர்த்தம். இதான் அதனுடைய அர்த்தம், கரண்ட் ரேஷியோனுடைய அர்த்தம். So current asset has got a weight of 2.5. Current liability has got a weight of 1. So current assets minus current liability will give us working capital. So what is the answer for working capital? Here it is 1.5. So the weight for working capital is 1.5 when the current assets and current liabilities have the weights of 2.5 and 1 respectively. Current ratio பார்த்தோம்னா 2.5 கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. அப்ப current assets 2.5 னா current liability 1 தான் இருக்க முடியும். அப்ப இத ஒரு ஈக்குவேஷன்ல நம்ம அப்ளை பண்றோம்னா என்ன ஈக்குவேஷன்? கரண்ட் அசெட்ஸ் மைனஸ் கரண்ட் லைபிலிட்டிஸ் ஈக்குவல் டு ஒர்க்கிங் கேபிட்டல்ங்கிறது ஒரு பாப்புலரான ஒரு ஃபார்முலா ஆர் ஈக்குவேஷன் whatever you call. அப்ப அந்த ஈக்குவேஷன்ல இந்த வெயிட்ஸ் எல்லாம் நம்ம அப்ளை பண்றோம். ரெஃபரிங் த கரண்ட் ரேஷியோ, கரண்ட் அசெட்ஸ்க்கு என்ன வெயிட்? 2.5, கரண்ட் லைபிலிட்டிக்கு 1. அப்ப ஒர்க்கிங் கேபிட்டலுக்குரிய வெயிட் 1.5. இப்போ நம்ம கால்குலேஷனுக்கு போறோம். working capital with a weight of 1.5 is equal to rupees 60,000 given in the problem. 1.5 weight உடைய working capital உடைய மதிப்பு என்ன கணக்குல கொடுத்ததுபடி 60,000. அப்ப 1.5 வெயிட்டுக்கு 60,000 மதிப்புன்னா 2.5 வெயிட்ஸ்க்கு என்ன மதிப்பு, 1 வெயிட்டுக்கு என்ன மதிப்பு அப்படின்னு ப்ரொபோர்ஷனேட்டா ஒரு கால்குலேஷன் நம்ம பண்றோம். அப்ப current assets 2.5 is equal to 60,000 divided by 1.5 into 2.5. What is the value of current assets? 1 lakh. And what is the value of current liability with the weight of 1? 60,000 divided by 1.5 into 1 is equal to 40,000. Now you can have a cross verification. Current assets minus current liability is working capital. Current assets 1 lakh minus current liability 40,000. What is the answer? 60,000. That is what working capital as given in the problem. So the amounts of current assets and current liabilities calculated are correct. You just confirm it up to this level. Then you continue. Okay. Now what is the next ratio to be chosen? Yeah, obviously liquid ratio. Why? We have come to know current assets. We have come to know current liabilities. So from current liabilities, if you subtract bank overdraft, you can calculate liquid liability. That's what we are going to do. Fine. See here, liquid liability is equal to current liability minus bank overdraft. Bank overdraft amounts to 10,000 given in the problem. So 40,000 current liability minus bank overdraft 10,000. What is the value of liquid liability? 30,000 rupees. That's the value of liquid liability. Fine. Now let us apply the value of liquid liability in the formula for liquid ratio. In the liquid liability 30,000 கண்டுபிடிச்சிட்டோம். Current liability ல இருந்து bank overdraft கழிச்சோம்னா கிடைக்கிறது பேர் என்ன? Liquid liability. இந்த liquid liability amount பயன்படுத்தி liquid assets என்னன்னு நம்ம கண்டுபிடிக்க போறோம். எப்படி? Liquid ratio வழியாக அதை செய்ய போறோம். So what is the formula for liquid ratio? Liquid assets divided by liquid liability. And what is the answer of the ratio? 1.5 according to the information given in the problem. What is the meaning of this 1.5? For every 1 rupee of liquid liability, the business owns liquid assets worth of 1.50. ஒவ்வொரு ரூபாய் liquid liabilityக்கும் நிறுவனம் எவ்வளவு liquid assets வச்சிருக்கான்? 1 ரூபாய் 50 பைசா மதிப்புடைய liquid assets வச்சிருக்கான். என்ன liquid assets? The assets which could be quickly liquidated. The moment you think they could be liquidated. அதுக்கு பேர் தான் liquid assets. You understand, right? Fine. Very good. Now liquid ratio is equal to liquid assets divided by liquid liability is equal to 1.5 divided by 1. If liquid liability with the weight of 1 is equal to 30,000, what is the value of liquid assets with the weight of 1.5? See, look at it. Liquid assets with a weight of 1.5 is equal to 30,000 amount of liquid liability divided by 1 weight of liquid liability according to the ratio into 1.5. The answer of liquid assets is 45,000 rupees. Now what we have calculated so far? Current assets, current liabilities, liquid assets, liquid liability. Think. Now from current assets, if you subtract liquid assets, you can come to know closing stock and prepaid expenses together. To name the difference between current assets and liquid assets as closing stock only, you have to make an assumption. What is the assumption? The concern doesn't have any prepaid expenses. Therefore, excess of current assets over liquid assets is equal to only closing stock. After making this assumption, you can come to this conclusion. இப்போ இந்த கணக்குல current assetsல இருந்து liquid assets கழிச்சோம்னா நமக்கு கிடைக்கிற ஒரு அமௌண்ட் எதனுடைய டோட்டலா இருக்கலாம்னா க்ளோசிங் ஸ்டாக்கும் ப்ரீபெய்ட் எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ் ரெண்டும் சேர்ந்ததனுடைய டோட்டலா இருக்கலாம். ஆனா க்ளோசிங் ஸ்டாக் எவ்வளவு, ப்ரீபெய்ட் எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ் எவ்வளவுன்னு நம்ம சொல்ல முடியாது. ஈக்குவலா பிரிச்சு போடலாமா, 60-40 போடலாமா, அப்படிலாம் நம்ம யோசிக்க முடியாது. அப்ப அந்த சிச்சுவேஷன்ல என்ன பண்ணணும்னா ஒரு அசம்ஷனை நம்ம இங்க உருவாக்கணும். என்ன அசம்ஷன் உருவாக்கணும்னா இந்த கணக்குல ப்ரீபெய்ட் எக்ஸ்பென்சஸ் இல்ல, கரண்ட் அசெட்ஸ்ல இருந்து லிக்விட் அசெட்ஸ் கழிச்சா வர்ற வேல்யூ என்னன்னு சொல்லிடலாம், நேரா closing stock nu sollidala. Fine. So current assets minus liquid assets is equal to closing stock when there are no prepaid expenses. So closing stock is equal to 1 lakh current asset minus liquid assets 45,000. The balance is what? 55,000. That is closing stock. Okay. Now, how to continue the solution? We have already utilized current ratio, liquid ratio, working capital amount, right? Now, what is the other ratio we have not touched so far? Fixed assets to proprietary fund. What is the formula for fixed assets to proprietary fund? See here, fixed assets divided by proprietary fund is equal to 0.75. It is mentioned here. So, when proprietary fund is having the weight of 1, the fixed assets has got the weight of 0.75. For every 1 rupee of proprietary fund, the business owns fixed assets worth of 75 paise. ஒவ்வொரு ரூபா proprietary ஃபண்டுக்கும் இணையாக என்ன வச்சிருக்காங்க? fixed assets 75 பைசா மதிப்புடைய fixed assets வச்சிருக்காங்க இந்த கன்சென்ட்ல. You need to look at other details given here. What is that? There is no long-term loan or fictitious assets. That's what the information given. If what is the point of understanding this one? We know a popular equation with asset side approach and liability side approach for calculating capital employed. Now, what is that asset side approach of calculating capital employed? Fixed assets plus working capital is equal to liability side approach, proprietary fund plus long-term liability minus fictitious assets. What is that? Minus fictitious assets. This is a real formula. In this problem, there is no fictitious asset. So, as per the liability side approach, how to calculate capital employed? Proprietary fund plus long-term loan or liability minus fictitious assets. We need to connect this equation with the formula for the ratio of fixed assets to proprietary fund. Fixed assets, the weight is 0.75 given in the problem. Working capital, we know the amount is equal to proprietary fund, the weight is 1 plus long-term liability nil. So let us simplify. Now fixed assets, the value we have applied referring this particular ratio 0.75 plus here we do not know what is given is equal to proprietary fund. What is the weight given here? 1 plus long-term liability nil. If you simplify this equation, you find a balancing figure of 0.25 here. 0.25 is a weight of working capital. Please listen. Fixed assets weight is 0.75. Proprietary fund weight 1. Long-term liability nil. Therefore, the balancing figure of 0.25 is the weight we have calculated for working capital. We are informed about the amount of working capital in the problem, which is nothing but 60,000 rupees. Therefore, we go for proportionate calculation. If working capital with a weight of 0.25 is 60,000 in this situation, what is the value of fixed assets with a weight of 0.75 according to the ratio? 60,000 divided by 0.25 into 0.75, it gives us 1,80,000. That is the amount of fixed assets. Now, what is the value of proprietary fund which is having the weight of 1 according to this particular ratio? So, proprietary fund 1 is equal to 60,000 divided by 0.25 into 1 is equal to what? 2,40,000 rupees. Now, proprietary fund includes two elements basically. What are the two elements? Capital and reserves and surplus. In the problem, they have given the amount of reserves and surplus which is nothing but 40,000 rupees. So, let's continue the solution there. Proprietary fund 2,40,000 is equal to capital we do not know now plus reserves and surplus 40,000 already given in the problem. Therefore, the balancing figure in the equation which is nothing but 2 lakh, that is what the amount of capital. So, இதுதான் அப்ப proprietary fund amount 2,40,000 ரெண்டு விஷயத்தை இன்க்ளூட் பண்ணிருக்கு. ஒன்னு கேபிட்டல், இன்னொன்னு ரிசர்வ்ஸ் அண்ட் சர்ப்ளஸ். ரிசர்வ்ஸ் அண்ட் சர்ப்ளஸ் உடைய அமௌண்ட் கணக்குல 40,000 கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. அப்ப அந்த 2,40,000ல 40,000 ரூபாய் ரிசர்வ்ஸ் அண்ட் சர்ப்ளஸ், மீதி இருக்கிற 2 லட்சம் என்னவா தான் இருக்க முடியும்? கேபிட்டலா தான் இருக்க முடியும். அதை கண்டுபிடிச்சிட்டோம் நம்ம. சரியா? ஓகே. நவ let us Write the answers for the questions finally here. What is the first question? Current assets. The value of current asset is 1 lakh, that we have already calculated. See, current assets is valued 1 lakh. What is the second question? Current liability. What is the value of current liability? 40,000 rupees, written here. Closing stock. What is the value of closing stock? 55,000 rupees, calculated here. I explained already, so that is written. The next one is about fixed assets. What is the value of fixed assets? See, 1,80,000 rupees calculated. Capital, we have found out the value of capital is 2 lakh rupees. I hope you have understood my explanation over this problem and its related solution. Again, I tell you, this is an important problem. Kindly watch the video for a couple of times to gain better understanding and give your comments. That would be more valuable. Thanks for your time to watch this video. I'll meet you in another video. Bye for now, everyone.